One day, a strange and immense sphere lands on Earth. Humanity abruptly halts all activity. Everyone remains fixed in front of their television screens. Suddenly, a gigantic door opens. The whole world holds its breath. Gradually, silhouettes begin to emerge through the dazzling light pouring from the opening. Anxiety then gives way to smiles. Incredible. We already knew them. They had introduced themselves to us through our own works of fiction. Why would we need to wait for such an event before allowing ourselves to consider that some of our works of fiction may not be mere fiction? Is it not precisely because we tend to regard fiction as nothing more than invented stories that an advanced extraterrestrial species could use this principle to give us access to information without our awareness, thereby preparing a future encounter in the gentlest possible way? A meeting does not depend solely on their ability to reach us, but also on our ability to understand what would stand before us. Just as an adult uses a child's familiar references to explain a complex idea, an advanced civilization could use our own frames of reference to convey concepts that would otherwise be impossible for us to understand. Being prepared to comprehend their differences, while also understanding why extraterrestrials would not represent a threat, would make such a meeting possible. This hypothesis first began to take shape in my mind when I thought I detected a double meaning in Steven Spielberg's film E.T., the Extraterrestrial. I then set out to examine the film as a whole in order to determine whether this double meaning extended beyond a few isolated scenes. To limit cognitive bias, I chose to retain only the elements deliberately emphasized by the film's direction and staging. My objective was to determine whether an overall coherence could emerge without falling into the trap of believing I had discovered a message when, in reality, I might have unconsciously invented it myself. This analysis revealed a double meaning illustrating both the conditions for, and the solutions to, a meeting between humanity and an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. Yet this study does not claim that such a message actually exists, it claims only that the existence of such a message may be possible. Even if a highly coherent message appears to emerge, that does not mean it is necessarily of extraterrestrial origin. The film's screenwriter, Melissa Matheson, as well as Steven Spielberg, may themselves be the source of this double meaning. What follows are the keys to a message that, if it is real, and of extraterrestrial origin, could transform the human condition. In the opening scene, an extraterrestrial spacecraft is resting in a forest. Spheres on the craft evoke Neptune, Mars, and the Moon. The triangles surrounding the craft evoke symbols associated with the rays of the sun. The spacecraft represents a cosmological microcosm, much like Earth itself. Inside the spacecraft, there is no ultra-modern decor, only vegetation. The cables fused with the tree and the bioluminescent plants evoke a technology based on living systems. The buttons, the engines, and the lights are organic in nature. The distinction is no longer between the natural and the artificial, but between original nature and augmented nature. The spacecraft produces water, air, food, and energy. It mirrors the Earth itself. It is an ecosystem spacecraft, and therefore a resilient one, free to evolve throughout the universe. A universal language shared by the various civilized species of the universe would likely be a myth, since each species possesses its own frames of reference. In the absence of a common language, communication between species would require a mode of communication capable of integrating the other's frames of reference. The film presents a solution to this problem. The glowing hearts of the extraterrestrials illustrate telepathic communication. This telepathy does not use language as its medium, but rather inner experience. Every thought, whether the observation of an object or the recollection of a memory, produces an inner experience, however subtle, whose specific waveform is unique and can therefore be communicated. Placing oneself within the inner experience of another then makes it possible to understand that individual deeply, because inner experience incorporates the other's frames of reference, allowing one to understand the other through their own perception of reality, as though one were truly in their place, because the ability to truly place oneself in another's position is precisely the definition of empathy. This mode of communication also promotes peaceful behavior, hence the symbol of the heart. When we truly understand another person, it becomes difficult to judge them. And when we feel what they feel, it becomes difficult to harm them. By fostering the development of pacifism, this mode of communication explains how such a species could have evolved without destroying itself, and ultimately reached Earth. These extraterrestrials present themselves as botanists. This image serves as a reminder that every civilized species studies science, including the sciences of life. Studying life over thousands of years leads to a profound understanding of living systems, eventually making it possible to use life itself as a technology. Such mastery of living systems makes it possible to create technologies based on augmented nature, multifunctional and collaborative technologies that enhance life. In this way, a species can help itself evolve without destroying itself, eventually becoming capable of creating ecosystem spacecraft. The alternating images of the rabbit and the plant serve as a reminder that a civilized species studies all forms of life. When the principle of augmented nature is applied to the civilized species itself, the capabilities of that species are enhanced. The original species then becomes an augmented species, much like the technological vegetation shown in the spacecraft. One example of such enhancement is presented in the film through the ability to survive in different environments, thereby becoming amphibious. More importantly, it leads to the emergence of new senses, giving the species finer access to the reality that exists beyond itself. The sense highlighted in this fiction is access to a very particular form of reality, the inner experience of another being and that being's own perception of reality. This mutual access to each other's reality makes possible a new form of communication, deep, genuine, and peaceful. The film is not a prophecy. It is the parable of a meeting. The extraterrestrials who have reached Earth possess a long evolutionary history, and therefore a profound understanding of the implications of contact with an emerging civilization such as humanity. They are therefore capable of anticipating events, including the types of individuals who would initiate such a meeting, and of symbolically representing their profiles through fiction. The first individuals to take part in the process of contact are represented by the character, Keys. Driven by a profound desire for a meeting, these individuals seek the truth about the extraterrestrial question. Keys' face remains hidden for much of the film in order to draw attention to his ring of keys. Through persistent searching, these individuals eventually discover the keys to the meeting. One of the individuals represented by the character Keys is Steven Spielberg himself. Without even realizing it, he presented the keys to the stars in his film. And on the very day I am publishing this video, a new film is being released in theaters that suggests he may still be doing so.